Hello there, I'm George Hall, and welcome to this Analytics Anonymous session. It's great to have you here. I'm joined today by Ed Jackson, Analytical Researcher at Good Growth. Ed, how are you?
Good, thank you, George. Thank you for having me on first time.
No problem at all. It's always great to have a podcast debut. Ed, we promised listeners that these Analytics Anonymous sessions would give them bite-sized nuggets that are both fascinating and thought-provoking. What have you got for us today as the first guest in this series?
I'm going to talk today a little bit about some of the work I've been doing recently with several clients, actually. Based on the economic climate we're currently sitting in, a lot of clients are coming to us and looking at how they can make changes and increase efficiencies in their processes, whether that be through their fulfillment model and how they promote that, or whether that be through pricing and promotion or just back-end analysis of their data.
Nice. Well, look, tell me more. I mean, I know you've been working on a lot of very interesting things recently. Keen to hear as much as I can about it.
Yeah, so I think the first big one was a project we've done around fulfillment mix modeling. Obviously, everybody knows that delivery costs more for a company than click and collect. So how can we push people towards the click and collect journey while mitigating any of the negative effects of that? Obviously, click and collect users probably have slightly lower order values. We also see that with click and collect, you potentially have higher return rates because they go and see the item, decide they don't want it. But there are other benefits to click and collect as well, such as lower cost of service in terms of customer service. So what we've done recently is we built a model to understand the opportunity at stake for a company. And then based on that, we had a business case that they could take higher up within the company to really push on this opportunity they saw in switching users from delivery to click and collect. I think the really interesting part about that and the way we've framed it with them as a company is that we're not looking at click and collect and delivery mix in isolation. Everything comes from a holistic view. We'll obviously look at it in isolation. We'll look at the specific changes we're making and how that impacts user behavior in terms of their delivery or fulfillment method. But we're also constantly looking at the overarching view, looking at different customer segmentation and how it affects them as well.
Nice. Well, we hear that phrase holistic approach quite a lot. I mean, it applies to endless industries across various different areas. What does it mean to you in terms of having a holistic approach to data, particularly as an analyst when you're in the numbers every day? What does that mean for you?
Fundamentally, it means it's quite nice to look at things in isolation, but that's not the world we live in. To companies that we work with, especially, there will be teams that are focused on specific targets and specific goals that are quite isolated. But if that doesn't align with the overall business view, the overall bottom line, it's not worthwhile for the business as a whole.
Sure. And then coming back around to fulfillment, and we touched on it briefly at the start, it feels a bit cliche almost to refer to ourselves as being in this post-pandemic world. But how much has that changed things in terms of, things are back opening up, people have returned to shopping in store and going out to the high street. How has that impacted retailers in terms of them thinking, actually, do you know what, we've got an opportunity here with click and collect. We don't necessarily know what it is, but it's something that we think we need to have an eye on.
I think obviously there was a big drop off in click and collect during the pandemic. Nobody could go and click and collect things. So there was that shift following the pandemic where everybody defaulted to getting things delivered. And it is part of that Amazon culture that we live in at the moment. But what companies are seeing is that it's really affecting their bottom line, especially last year when we had the fuel crisis and fuel prices going up. Companies are seeing their fulfillment fees go up massively. And we're trying to shift consumer behavior back towards collecting the product, back towards being in store and seeing the benefits of the stores themselves.
And I know what you in the analytics team are like. So I'm imagining you get quite a thrill from this. Am I right?
Yeah, it's quite good fun. So specifically, this kind of thing is quite nice because rather than dealing with revenue increases, we do see some revenue increases with these changes, but it's looking at cost savings to businesses as well, which is quite an exciting one because that really, they can see that and feel that on the bottom line.
Perfect. And is this a sign of things to come in terms of working on projects like this? I mean, over the next few years, cost saving, but revenue optimization is going to be, it always has been and always will be a massive priority for businesses.
Yeah, I think with the economic climate we're sitting in currently, there's going to be more and more clients looking at how they can save money and limit the regression that we're probably going to see in terms of growth for businesses currently. It's how they can maximize the efficiency of processes.
Perfect. And then finally, before we finish what is a very short episode for us, but it's obviously what the people wanted. How do you see this ranking on businesses' priority lists? I mean, is this something that organizations aren't aware of enough yet, or is this something that is high up, or should it be higher up? Where do you see that playing out at the moment?
I think based on numbers we're seeing, yeah, definitely. I think we've so far delivered cost savings to a client that's in the region of 10 times the amount that they've spent with us, which when that's cost savings to the bottom line, that's really powerful for them.
Well, 10 times return is incredible, isn't it? I mean, especially from delivery and click and collect and fulfillment, and something that maybe companies think is already maxed out and can't be optimized, but obviously you've proved it certainly well can. Well, as always, we may have left you with answers, we may have left you with questions, or a mixture of both. Either way, it would be great to hear from you. We're Good Growth, a data and technology business trusted by global brands to grow market share and profitability of e-commerce and digital channels. You can email us at inquiries@goodgrowth.co.uk or have a look at our website, which is goodgrowth.co.uk. Ed, thank you very much for your time today. It's been great to have you on, and looking forward to having you back on again soon.
Perfect. Thanks for having me, George.